Heaven or hell. One. Let's rock!
Oh hey, welcome back to Nathan vs. Video Games. I'm Nathan, your host, and this is the Halloween Spooktacular. What? What do you mean? What do you mean it was 6 days ago? No, you got it all wrong. This is for 2013. Yeah, this is totally 2013's Halloween special. So it's just, you know, it's really early. Gosh. Well, anyway, I was thinking to myself, what kind of video should I do for Halloween? Well, we could focus on a game series, and what game series is more suited for Halloween than Monster Party? But I'm not doing Monster Party. I'm doing Castlevania.
Yeah, Castlevania is all about killing spooks and spirits and monsters and all that stuff. It's pretty much the perfect Halloween game.
Well, you know me, if there's anything I like, it's some good video game music. And Castlevania's some of the best there is. So for this Halloween, we're gonna give you Nathan's top 10 personal favorite Castlevania songs in 2013, not 2012.
Let me just say as a little precursor here, it was really hard to narrow this down to 10 songs. Castlevania has such a rich library of amazing tunes, it's quite possible that your favorite isn't on this list. Well, guess what? That's what that YouTube comment box is for. If you felt like I missed an important song in Castlevania's history, or just your own personal favorite, leave a comment down there with the link so that me and everybody else can go listen to it. So how about we cut the chatter and get on with the list? Number 10. Pitch Black Intrusion from Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. As much as I hated Dawn of Sorrow's awful Fox block generic anime art style shift, there's no denying that it's a pretty awesome game. And once the first stage's song as you traverse through the snow, it's this catchy number. I call this one the Christmas Castlevania song because it's, well, it sounds kind of Christmassy. It's a bit different from the rest of the songs on this list, but I still really like it. It's got a nice mix of a beat with sort of creepy bell sound that comes in now and again. It's really memorable. Whatever people say about this game or the horrible box art, but you know, box art, this song is fantastic. Number 9. Requiem of the Gods from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This song is one that doesn't really show up very often on Castlevania top 10 music lists, which surprises me to be honest. The Castlevania series to me has always been a series with one foot set in action and the other in the spooky. These aren't horror games really, but it's certainly meant to remember old creepy monster movies. This haunting tune from the Royal Chapel in Symphony of the Night invokes just that thought. In a game full of kickin' beats, this one isn't afraid to go slow, cut back on the instruments, and just be creepy. It's an excellent atmospheric song that sends chills up my spine. The first time I entered the Royal Chapel, I couldn't believe the sudden shift in tone, and that haunting theme just keeps quietly playing over your entire time there. Number 8. Requiem, or the Kyrie Eleison from Circle of the Moon. Now this one comes with a bit of a story. Imagine if you would that you've never played a Castlevania game before. You just got a brand new Game Boy Advanced SP, and for the first game you're going to put into it, you put in Castlevania Circle of the Moon. The game powers up, you get past the Konami logo, and this is the first thing that you hear. Like the previous Requiem of the Gods song, this Requiem from Circle of the Moon is haunting. With no instruments and just vocals, it's a memorable and frankly beautiful track. It really sets the mood for the dark tone of this game, and when it's the first thing you hear when you boot the game up, it really leaves quite the impression. I will say that Symphony of the Night has an equally awesome tune, though honestly this one's just a little better. Number 7. Young Nobleman of Sadness from Castlevania, Symphony of the Night. This song, when you enter the clock tower in Symphony of the Night, is in fact a trick. It starts out all orchestrated, grandiose, building up to something, and then... bam. This song embodies everything that makes Castlevania music great. The blend of orchestration with rocking guitars and a kickin' beat. The Castlevania Clock Tower stages are famous for having some of the best music in the franchise, and this song is my favorite out of all of them. Plus, whenever I hear it, I think of those horrifying giant skull faces. Why are they so big? Number 6. Simon's theme from Super Castlevania 4. This one's another tricky one. Starts off nice, slow, just easing you into the game before it hits you with it. Man, this song, it's just it's so Super Nintendo, you know? It's like I can hear the cart being popped into my SNES, feel that controller in my hands, mashing buttons, whipping the crap out of bats in any freaking direction he wants, because it's Super Castlevania 4 and Simon can whip wherever he wants, son. Seriously though, this song is killer, and the instrumentation just nails the Castlevania feel. Number 5. Stage 1 theme from Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Yeah, you know we're getting to the good stuff if we're hitting the NES era. I swear, Castlevania 3 is overlooked by most people. It's infamously hard, not hitting that sweet spot like Castlevania and not being totally, let's say, experimental as Simon's Quest. But man, this game had some fantastic music, and none was better than this opening starting song. Man, it's so sweet. As an added bonus, you'll probably hear it several hundred times, as nobody in the history of the world has ever beaten this game. What? What do you mean there's videos on YouTube? I mean, where people... Heart of Fire from Castlevania on the NES. Heart of Fire plays on Stage 5 on the NES Castlevania 1 game. It's Death's stage, for those who remember correctly, and also it's the stage with that infamous room, which has the Dusa heads and the Shield Knights. This song doesn't start all that amazing at first. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good, but there's certainly better songs on the list than what you're hearing right now. But then when you hit about the 35-second mark, this happens. Yeah. Wow. A serious organ solo of amazing. The first time I heard that when I played through this stage, I had to pause the game. It was so awesome. I mean, just listen to it. It's so Castlevania. And yes, I put this song on the list for a 10-second segment, but it's my list, so deal with it. And you know what? Let's hear that part again. Vampire Killer from Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Of course Vampire Killer's gonna be on this list. I mean, it's pretty much mandatory, right? It's the first song that plays in Castlevania on the NES in the very first stage, so it's the one everybody remembers. The question is, which one do I pick for this list? There's about 100 different versions and remixes, and honestly, the songs appeared on just about every Castlevania game after the ones on the NES. But since this is my list, and as I said before, my first real Castlevania experience was on the Game Boy Advance for Circle of the Moon, that's the version that I've put here. And would you know it? This version's pretty awesome. Now, I am more than willing to admit that this might not be the quote-unquote best version of Vampire Killer, so if you have a better one, by all means, post it in the comments. But for me, this is Vampire Killer. It just makes me want to whip some Draculas to death. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know. Number 2. Dracula's Castle from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I think some context is required for this song as well. After doing an awesome intro where you fight Dracula as Richter, you enter the castle as Alucard. There's no music, the castle's pitch dark, the only sound being the growl of the wargs and the thunderous lightning in the background. Then, as you step forward, the castle fills with light and this music blooms from the silence. Wow. This song is awesome. It's short, really short, almost unfairly short, and it plays for technically the smallest area of the castle in the entire game, but holy cow does it leave an impression. In a game filled with awesome music, that's in a series full of awesome music, Dracula's Castle and Symphony of the Night is one heck of a way to introduce us to the new Castlevania. And yeah, it rocks.
So you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, what song could possibly be better than either Dracula's Castle or Vampire Killer? Well, don't you worry, because we're busting out the big guns for this finale. We're bringing you Bloody Tears.
Perhaps the best thing to come out of the entire game of Castlevania II Simon's Quest, Bloody Tears is the only Castlevania song that I think might rival Vampire Killer in terms of being that iconic Castlevania tune. But once again, we're faced with that same issue. This song has been released on almost every Castlevania game to date. Which of all those versions is the best version and takes the #1 slot on this list?
I will say, though, that unlike Vampire Killer, where the choice was kind of difficult to pick which version I wanted, to find the best version of Bloody Tears was not difficult. There's only one version that I can think of. One version that's just so skull-crushingly awesome, that's just got sick metal guitar riffs, it's got orchestration that just goes through your ears and into your brain and just rocks everything. And this one song that flies out into space, into the stratosphere, past the moon, and whatever's past the moon, you get the point. You know what version of Bloody Tears we're talking about? The version from Dracula X.
And no, I'm not talking about the crappy Super Nintendo port either. We're talking about the TurboGrafx 16 Super CD, also known as the PC CD engine in Japan. This game is considered the holy grail among Castlevania collectors. And for good reason. In order to play this game, you'd have to own a TurboGrafx 16, the rare CD attachment, and the game, which is almost impossible to find. So thank goodness for YouTube, because holy cow. Feast your ears on Dracula X Rondo of Blood's version of Bloody Tears. This song is just... I'm sorry, it's just so beautiful. It's so glorious. It's everything great about Castlevania in a single song. Killer beat, iconic tune, a blend of guitar and orchestra, and all that at glorious CD quality. This is absolutely vampire killerific, and well deserving of the #1 spot on the top 10 best Castlevania songs list.
And that's going to do it for me here in the brown chair. So you all have a safe Halloween, eat lots of candy, go to lots of parties, dress up, make a fool of yourself, and remember you think to yourself, it's 2013, not 2012. I'm so glad that Nathan posted his Halloween episode early so I could watch it in advance and not spoil the festivities, because it's 2013, not 2012's episode. 2013. And that's it. Play me out, Master Librarian.